Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Kamisha's Corner. My name is Kamisha. This is my corner. This is a place where all the magic happens. This is a place where I connect women with high quality, eco-friendly, skin-friendly products that you can use for your hair, that you can use for your skin, and it's going to help you on your self-care journey. This is also a place where if you want to make it yourself and you want to tailor skincare products or hair care products specifically for your skin or hair type, you can get that done here. I teach classes as well. Okay, now I made this video because I love YouTube. I love YouTube so much that, I tell everybody, if you want to find out how to do something, go to YouTube. You can find it. However, YouTube is not regulated by any type of situation or organization or anything like that. So you can pretty much put out anything within their guidelines on there. And sometimes people put out some things that's not really 100% accurate or correct. So I always tell people, don't take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word for anything that you see. Do some research and try to find out more information about whatever it is that somebody's putting out there, especially when it comes to products, skincare products, DIY products, DIY, situations. So I was traveling around YouTube and I came across this channel, and I have to applaud them because they took the time to educate people on how to make skincare products for people with eczema, psoriasis, and they used a lot of great ingredients like calendula, but they also made one really big fatal error that I see a lot of people who are looking for natural products make. So before I go on with that video, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. That question is, are you a subscriber? If you are, thank you very much. If you're not, why not? Subscribe. I'm giving you valuable information here. Click the subscription button and don't forget to click the notifications bell so that when I upload another video, you'll be sure to get notified. Okay, one more thing. Please watch this all the way through the end because I'm going to talk about what I liked about what he did, but I'm also going to talk about some of the fatal flaws that he did as well, okay, as I make some lotion. Okay, so we are going to make some lotion today, but before I get started making some lotion, I just want you to listen to something. Listen to this, and then I'll tell you the fatal flaw in what this person is doing.
From eczema, psoriasis, maybe fungal infections, maybe even just poison ivy. Well, this is a fantastic recipe to make. So for this recipe, you're going to need your calendula flowers. You don't need to pull all the little petals off. You can just leave them whole. And then we're also going to need to have some olive oil. So just regular extra virgin olive oil would be fine to use. And then we're going to also get some emulsifying wax. This is vegetable emulsifying wax, so you'll need to get some of this. And then we're going to use also some essential oils like lavender, frankincense, and just to add a little bit of preservative to it, we're going to add vitamin E oil and also some grapefruit seed extract. So,
did you hear that? Okay, I hope you heard that. And just in case you missed it, I'm going to kind of recap. So I give thanks to this person. Thank you to the Lay Institute of Global Health and Training for trying your best to make people understand that if you have eczema, if you have psoriasis, you don't have to always go to the store and get all of these different products that are out there to help you with these issues, these skin issues that you have. But instead, you can make your own skincare products to tailor it specifically to your skin. Excellent idea. I applaud that. But he's also spreading some information that, one, is not good, it's not true, it's not good, and can actually do your skin more harm than good. Okay, so he's having you use some, and by the way, this tutorial was learn how to make natural herbal skin cream. So he's making a natural herbal skin cream. So he wants to encourage people to use natural ingredients to make their own skin cream, which is great. But he made one fatal flaw. There were a couple of other things in there that I was like, wait a minute. But this was the most important, because if you follow this recipe, you can actually, the way he's telling you to make it, you can actually potentially do more harm to your skin than using products with chemicals. Okay, and I'm going to explain how that is. When you're making a lotion or a cream, first of all, a lotion or a cream is simply a moisturizer. It is a moisturizer that has water content. It's different from like your body butters or your lotion bars. They call them lotion bars, but they really should be called maybe butter bars, because they have no water content in them. Body butters have no water content. Oils have no water content. Lotion bars have no water content. They're all made with oils and butters, which are great for your skin. They're also a form of moisturizer. However, lotions are a form of moisturizer that incorporate water. Okay, so you have to use water. Okay, 5 main ingredients that you want to put in a lotion: water. You can have any type of water that you like. So you can use plain spring water, distilled water. I say use distilled water because distilled water is less likely to have any type of impurities in it, because again, this is going on your skin, and the impurities can cause issues. The more impurities in it, the more you have to work with to deal with the possible issues that can arise. So when you're making a lotion, it's mostly water, so you need water. You also need some type of fat. It can come in the form of a butter like shea butter. It can be coconut oil, which is what I'm going to use here. Okay, so I'm going to add some coconut oil. Now, I'm not doing any measurements, so I'm not giving you a recipe. I'm just showing you the different things that you need inside, and I'm not measuring it out, inside of your things that you need in order to make a lotion that's going to be emulsified and that's going to not harm your skin, but protect your skin and do what you want it to do. Okay, so you need some water. You need a water-based liquid. Now, you don't have to just use distilled water. You can use like a hydrosol, like rose water or lavender hydrosol. You can use a botanical, you can make a botanical infusion with herbs that are good for skin. And like calendula, that's one of the things that this person mentioned in their video. They mentioned the use of calendula, which is really good and soothing for people with all kinds of skin issues. Okay. All right. So you need your water. You need some type of oil. It can be a butter. It can be coconut oil. It can be avocado oil, olive oil, like they use in the video, almond oil, any kind of oil. It can be a combination. You don't have to just use one. You can use several. You have to have now water and oil. You can stir this up. You can mix it up. You can blend it up, and it can come together. But what's going to happen after a while is going to separate out again. So if you have water, if you have oil, and you're putting them together to make some type of emulsion, you're going to need something like a emulsifier, which is what's in my hand right here, that's going to be incorporated into that to help bring those molecule blends together. This is not for sale. So yes, I dropped some on my table and I'm just picking it up and throwing it in there. And no, I'm not really measuring anything out because I'm not doing this for the purpose of actually making a lotion that you could recreate yourself. But I'm doing it for a purpose of showing you all the different things that you need. So what I just put in there is an emulsifier. And an emulsifier it's usually it comes in a wax form, and it's usually they call it emulsifying wax. It can be called polar wax. You can't just use beeswax by itself, even though beeswax is a wax. Emulsifying wax is a waxy substance, but it's not just wax by itself. It's a substance that you put inside of lotions to help keep it together. And while beeswax is a wax, it's not something that's going to help keep the oil portion and the water portion bonded together and stay together stably. Emulsifying waxes can also help to impart conditioning aspects into your lotion or cream that you're making, and it can also help to thicken it as well. So some of the emulsifying waxes act as a thickener, and they act as a conditioner as well as an emulsifier. So I just named 3 things. You have your water content, which can come in several forms. You have your oils, which again can come in several forms, and it can be any oil that you wish. And you can also mix it with butters, and it doesn't have to have butters, but it can incorporate butters like shea butter, avocado butter, mango butter, cocoa butter. It needs an emulsifier to keep both the water content and the oil content bonded together. And then, because we're dealing with a product that has water, what happens when you put water to anything? Water brings what? Do you know? Put it in the comments below. Put it in the comments below. What do you think water brings? I'm giving you 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. You can still put your comments below. But in case you didn't, it's okay. When you have water, you have life. And where you have life, it's a good thing, but life can also be a bad thing, depending on what you're using it as. You don't want anything living inside of your lotions. You don't want things like bacteria, mold, or fungus living inside of your lotion. And because lotions have water content, most lotions are about 70% water. A good formulation of lotion will have about 70% water. It's mostly water. So if you have that much water, it's going to breed a lot of life. So you're going to need something that's going to be anti-life. And it may seem bad, but it's not bad. It's anti-life because you don't want certain types of life. Just like on your skin, you have what they call good bacteria and bad bacteria. You want there to be, you need bacteria on your skin and in your body, but you want, the good bacteria. You don't want too much of the harmful bacteria that can take your body out of balance into what we call disease, right? Same thing with a lotion. Water brings life. We don't want to have life in our lotions, because then we're going to have bacteria, we're going to have fungus, we can have mold, and all of that can be extremely harmful to your skin, especially if you already have a skin issue like rashes, psoriasis, especially eczema. My sister had eczema really bad her whole life, and she, not her whole life, but at one point in her life, when she was actually pregnant with children too, she had head to toe eczema. And it would itch so bad, she would scratch so much that she would get fine cuts. She would have all kind of cuts. And her skin would like crack and it would ooze. It was really, really bad. And because her skin was always open, you can get secondary infections from all of that open wounds on your skin. Now imagine you then, on top of that, you put on a cream or a lotion to help alleviate the itching, to help bring moisture to the skin that's really dry and cracking and itching. But that lotion has molds in it, fungi, and bacteria. What damage you can do to not only that skin to exasperate it even more, the condition even more, but possibly poison your system, your body system. Okay, so it's important. Anything with water needs a preservative. Anything with water needs a preservative. Okay, I want you to listen to this one more time, because he talks about a preservative. Listen to it again.
Just regular extra virgin olive oil will be fine to use. And then we're going to also get some emulsifying wax.
Emulsifiers to bring it together.
Emulsifying wax, so you'll need to get some of this. And then we're going to use also some essential oils like lavender, frankincense, and just to add a little bit of preservative to it, we're going to add vitamin E oil, and also
he said to add a little bit of preservative to it, we're going to add vitamin E oil. What else does he say?
There's some grapefruit seed extract.
And some grapefruit seed extract. Vitamin E oil, grapefruit seed extract, and another one that he doesn't mention here that I see a lot of people say that are preservatives is rosemary oil extract. These are 3 really good ingredients to incorporate into your lotions, but they are not preservatives. And I say that with a capital N-O-T. Vitamin E oil, rosemary oil extract, grapeseed extract are not preservatives. They can benefit your lotion. You can put them in as a portion of your lotion that can help to preserve the life of the oil. It can preserve the life of the oil, but it does nothing to help bring preserving effects for the water portion of your lotion. Okay? And what does that do? If preserving the life of the oils, all oils can have a shelf life. They can go what's called rancid. And that can be a problem too. You don't want rancid oils. So since, you don't use up a lotion, and usually we have a lotion, it may last, you buy a bottle of lotion, maybe it lasts you for a month or two. So you want that to be fresh to put on your skin and safe to put on your skin for the amount of time that you're going to have it and the amount of time that the owner or the maker had it before it got to you. So you want something that's going to preserve both the water portion of your lotion as well as the oil portion of your lotion. Now, rosemary seed extract, grapefruit seed extract, rosemary oil, and vitamin E oil are 3 ingredients that are actually antioxidants, and they help to preserve the oils from going rancid inside of your lotion. So you do want to add those. Those are great to add. However, that's going to do nothing to help preserve your lotion from mold, from bacteria, from fungus. And that's where I had, a really big problem, because you can actually exacerbate your skin issues by not having your lotions or creams that you're making properly preserved. And because there are so many handmade makers out there that are learning, that may be learning just from the internet and are self-taught like myself, but they might not do their homework. So I always encourage you, either do your homework or take a class from someone who knows what they are talking about. You can do your skin more damage. Now, this is not a teaching lesson on that. So I'm not teaching you how to make a lotion. I'm just showing you the different things that are needed to be put into a lotion so that you can have it well formulated. Okay, so I didn't measure anything in here. I just kind of threw all the different things that you needed in here. Now, I didn't put a preservative in here. So after you do that, you can take and you can put, so after you add your water, you have your oil, and you have your emulsifiers, you can put it on some heat source. Because, and people show you different ways to do this. People show you to add all of the water-based ingredients first, and then add all of the oil-based ingredients, and then mix them together. And there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. It doesn't have to be done that way. I make successful, stable emulsions all the time, and I actually somewhat do it that way, because some of the conditioners that I use have to be dispersed in water. And there are conditioners that some of them that you can use to add to your lotion to give it more skin benefits. Some of them have to be dispersed in water. Some of them have to be dispersed in oil. Some of them come in liquid form. Some of them come in powdered form. So I use a powdered form of conditioner, and it has to be dispersed in water. And then you can add additional thickeners as well. And some of those thickeners also have to be in water. So to this, you might add some, like a humectant, like honey or glycerin. What else could you add? You could add milks. You could add a lot of different things to this, okay? I'm just putting that on. And then you want to add some form of a heat source. Okay, now I'm using my crock pot today because a crock pot this crock pot specifically has settings. So I can put it on high, I can put it on, I can turn it off, put it on low, and I can put it on warm. So I'm going to put it on high for a minute, and then I'm going to turn it down, put it on high because it's actually cold, and I want to get it to heat up good. And I want it to be hot enough to melt the emulsifying wax. And then I'm going to add some other ingredients. Okay, so while this heat up, I'm not going to have you watch that sit around because it's going to take some time. So I'm going to pause you, and then I'll come back when this is all melted and ready, just so you can see what it looks like. It's little speckles. You want it to be nice and melted. Okay, all right, so I'm going to give you a pause. Okay, I'm bringing you back for a little bit just so you can see the progress so far. If you see, the pellets are starting to melt a little bit. So I'm just going to give it a little zip with the blender just to see how much meltage has occurred. And while I was off screen, I just want to let you know I did add a little bit of oil in here. So initially on screen, I just had the water with the coconut oil, but I did add some oils other than the coconut oil in here. I added a liquid oil as well. So, and you can use a liquid oil of your choice: olive oil, avocado oil, sweet almond oil, any liquid of your choice. Now that emulsifying wax was really, I wonder if you can see that. I think I need to come a little closer. Was really soft. So when I wow. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try to reposition this camera. Okay, it's a little bit better. It just needs to be a little higher. That's why I'm getting the angle that I'm getting. So because that emulsifying wax was a little bit melted when I blasted it with the little frother here. It kind of broke it up enough to emulsify into the water. Okay? All right, now in order for the emulsifying wax is a form of wax. So in order for it to incorporate into the water and the oil formulation well, you have to heat it up. And that's another thing that he did in the video. He put the emulsifying wax in with some of the liquid products, and he blended it in a blender for like 2 seconds. Now that's gonna make the wax small and grainy, but it's not gonna be incorporated into the water to help it to bond the water and the oil portions of your formulation together properly. So I don't understand how he ended up with the end product, because I don't see how not melting that emulsifying wax, if you don't melt it, I just don't see how that's going to happen. And I have made lotion before where the emulsifying wax has not melted properly, and when it did emulsify my ingredients together, but it also left a grainy feel because the wax wasn't melted fully and properly, and it left a grainy feel. So I had to go back and redo it so that it was all melted down and incorporated properly. So he didn't do that. He blended it, and he only blended it for like a couple of seconds. So I'm like, how can you have a nice smooth non-grainy emulsion when you didn't melt down the emulsifying wax? He did use a nice quality vegetable-based emulsifier, which is cool. And he also showed you how to make a Calendula Oil Infusion, which was great, although I would not have put the mason jar directly into. He said to put it in a heat source. You can use a heat source or a very low heat source, or you can use the like put it in the sun and use that as a heat source and just keep shaking it every so often. Or yeah, you can do it you can make oil infusion several different ways, and he used the heat source, which was fine. But when I use a heat source, I usually I'll use the crock pot, put it on the very lowest setting, and I will line the bottom with like a cloth or a wash towel or something like that, so that it's not too much heat going into it, because you don't want too much heat, will damage the properties of the oil infusion that you're trying to make. So you don't want too much heat going there, but you want enough heat so that it actually draws out the properties from the oil without damaging the properties of the benefits of the herb that you're trying to extract the properties from. So this is actually looking really good. Oh wait, I want to just look at this again. So once all of the emulsifying wax is melted down and incorporated, then the only thing left there is to do to let it cool off, and then add your preservative, okay, and your antioxidants. All right, so I'm going to turn this off, and I'm actually going to take it. Is this hot? Okay, it's not too hot. I'm going to take it out of this pot. I'm going to put it on top of my rubber gloves, just so it doesn't, in case the bottom is too hot. I don't want it to melt this table, which is plastic, but it might melt the gloves. But it's rubber. So I'm hoping it doesn't melt the gloves. Oh gosh. Okay, here. Let's do this. The bottom is not that hot, but it's hot enough. So, you could also sit this inside of some cool water to help this pot to kind of cool off faster. Or you can just let it cool off. Actually, I'm not going to cover this because if we leave it uncovered, it'll cool off faster. So I'm going to pause you again. I'm going to let this cool off. I might help it to cool off by sitting it in some water. And I think I'm actually going to do that. Oh, wait. You're seeing that and not this. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to pause you. I'm going to help this to cool off by sitting it in some cool water. And then I'm going to come back. Okay, so I just took another bowl to sit this in. And I was trying to put some ice around it to keep the water from getting too warm from the warmth of this going into the water. But I couldn't really fit the ice because it was too small. But anyway, it's okay. So I am going to keep just kind of, oh, let's not use this because this has some wax on it that's not melted. And I don't want that to get mixed in there. I could just wipe it off, but that's okay. As this cools down, it'll thicken. And I'm going to just blend from time to time just to make sure that it stays incorporated. You can do a continuous blending, but you don't necessarily have to do a continuous blending, but you do have to come back to it from time to time just to make sure that it doesn't separate. Or rather, you can come back to it from time to time to make sure that it doesn't separate. Now, once again, I want to remind you, I did not do any measurements with this. If you're watching me from beginning to end, you'll see I just kind of threw the ingredients in there. Because the purpose of this video was to show you that you can, the things that you definitely need to make a stable emulsion. When you make lotion, you do want to work with a formula. It's best to work with weighing out all of your ingredients by weight. You can do it by measurement, but it's actually better to do it by weight so that you can remake it over and over again, and that you can ensure that your measurements are correct with the proper proportions of light. I must say that I did put this in the fridge to help it to cool down a little bit quicker. Now I did just add a little bit of, I want to show you, a little bit of shea butter. Again, I did not measure this out. And this just shows you how important it is to make sure that you use measurements and you don't just go by eye, because then you can have an emulsion that's too thin, that's too thick, that and then you can't reproduce it. I'm using my stick blender. Just to kind of show you. What's happening. Again, you would not normally add the shea butter at that stage, by the way. You would put it in and heat it up with the waxes and make sure it's melted. Okay, so I did that and I added that shea butter after, just to show you, even a butter, shea butter is a lot softer than emulsifying wax. And what he did was put the emulsifying wax inside a blender with oils. He didn't heat anything, with the oils, with the water content, and he blended it for like a couple of seconds. You can't emulsify a formula that way. You have to heat up the waxes. Now, I use shea butter, something that if I blended really, really well, you can kind of blend it down into a smooth texture. And as you can see, even the shea butter is I'm having a little bit of a time. It's taking me some time to get it to blend down, and I put the shea butter in after. So imagine if it was a hard wax. Would you be able to have a nice smooth emulsion? No, you're going to have pieces of small wax in there. And he only blended it for like a couple of seconds. And shea butter is a lot softer, and you see how long I'm having to blend it to get it to incorporate, without having the shea butter, having had that shea butter been melted with the waxes. So now the shea butter will incorporate because it's a lot softer. You can, incorporate it pretty good afterwards because it's a lot softer. You can see it got a lot thicker when I use the emulsion blender. But yeah, so if you're making a lotion and you're using those waxes, they have to be melted down. You have to apply heat to it to melt it down. You can't just put it in a blender and expect to have a smooth emulsified formula in the end. Okay, so that's why I put the shea butter in after, because I wanted to kind of show you that. Now, you see this is you don't see any shea butter left over, and you can see the thickness of this lotion. I'm going to drop some on my hand. And yeah, it's nice and smooth. So I was able to blend down the shea butter. But you see how long it took. So it took, even with the shea butter that's soft, it took a lot longer than just a couple of seconds to get it to, blend into that. And I wouldn't, if I was making lotion, I wouldn't do it that way. I would definitely have put the shea butter in with the oils and the waxes and melted it down. If I'm adding the water content, still all of that would be warm. And then after, I'm now going to add my preservatives. And there's still, I think, some chunks of shea butter in here. I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Well, a little bit. But they're really small. So it's not big chunks. They're really small. But waxes, like emulsifying wax, it's not going to be soft like shea butter. It's going to be hard and grainy. So you're going to feel that. It's going to feel like little bits of scrub. You're like, what is this? It's supposed to be a lotion. So you can't do that. You definitely have to melt down those emulsifying waxes. Okay, so the final step, after you put your water-based ingredients and your oil-based ingredients, you put your emulsifying wax, you heated it up, and then you blend it together and cool it down, and give it another blend again to make sure it's well emulsified, well stuck together. You then want to take this and add some preservative to it. So I have my preservative right here, and I'm adding a preservative. Now, what does the preservative do? The preservative blocks against the harmful growth of bacteria, fungi, molds. You don't want that growing inside of your lotion, because that can cause all kinds of other problems with your skin. And if you already have eczema, you're probably already dealing with open wounds from scratching, and you don't want to have any type of mold or bacteria getting inside of your body through those open wounds because you're scratching. So, you definitely want to be careful. Whatever information you see out there for all you DIYers, do-it-yourselfers, be careful and always double check what someone tells you. Double check, and do a test run of any formula that's out there. Test it, see how it does, following their instructions. You can see how it does for you. And definitely you want to be able to reproduce that same formula. So you don't want to do like what I just did and just kind of throw the ingredients in there. You want them to be measured out. You can measure them out by volume, but it's actually more accurate to measure it out by weight. By weight is a more accurate measurement. And a good rule of thumb, if we're making a lotion, you want to have 70% water content to 30% oil content. And water content can be just plain distilled water, a combination of that with glycerin, with aloe vera water or aloe vera juice, some hydrosols, anything that's water-based, that's going to be part of the 70% of your water-based content. And anything that's oil, like your waxes, your butters, your oils, your coconut oils, anything that's oil-based, that's going to be part of the 30%. And then you add that together. You can add it together. You don't want to have one portion of it hot and one portion of it cold. Either they're all cold and then you melt it together, or they're all warm and then you put it together and you melt it, and you blend it together. As long as what you're adding doesn't, like, all of the ingredients that you're adding together that you're going to put on the heat, that it doesn't get degraded by the heat that you're putting it on. So if you're having products like herbal tinctures that'll degrade if you put it to heat, then, you know, you can put it to too much heat. You can add that after. You can add those extra ingredients after it's emulsified. So you can have, like, if I wanted to do like a tea, like a herbal infusion with some type of teas, let's say, what kind of tea? Oh, if I wanted to make a tea with calendula, because that's what he used in the video. He made an oil infusion with the calendula, but maybe I wanted to make an oil infusion. So the oil portion have calendula, the benefits of the calendula, and the water-based portion had benefits of the calendula. So maybe I broke it into two. I made an oil infusion with the calendula, and then I made a tea with the calendula for the water portion. So you have double of the calendula inside your emulsions. You can do that as well. And just, you know, have those healing properties on each side of your formula, in the water-based portion and in the oil-based portion, and then you can blend it together. So if you made that tea outside, you can add it afterwards. So you can, like, add it now. If you had any extra waters that you didn't put in the formula already that you plan to put in it, you can put it after it's emulsified. And that will, of course, make this a little bit thinner, but it's okay because that's going to be part of your formula that you calculated for already in the beginning before you even started making it. Okay, so I added my preservative, and I'm going to give this a blend again. To make sure it's well incorporated, the preservative is well incorporated. Also, if you are adding antioxidants, which I suggest you do, I don't have any that I'm adding right now, but you can add some vitamin E oil. You can add some grapefruit seed oil. You can add some rosemary oil extract. All of those antioxidants that you want to add, you can add in as well, but you have to have the preservative as well as the antioxidants. You can't just have antioxidants and expect this to be preserved properly. Okay, so, and once you do that, you can add those together and you'll have a wonderful, nice, oh, see, there's a bit of shea butter there. See, so now even with all of that blending, some of the shea butter is still a little separate. It's not fully incorporated into the inclusion. So imagine if that was wax. But of course, because the shea butter is soft, and I can just kind of rub it together. But imagine if that was a wax. So I'm going to add a little bit of glycerin and aloe vera to this. And then I'm going to bottle it, and I'm going to use it for myself. So if you want to learn how to make lotions, just continue. Subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be making lotions, and I'm going to be giving out formulas that I use. I'm going to be making body butters. I already make soap. You probably see me watch soap. I still have my goldenrod soap to make with my goldenrod oil infusion that I harvested with my daughter by myself. So it's fresh harvest goldenrod, and I didn't make the soap yet with it, but I'm going to be making some soap. So stay tuned for the videos that are to come. Subscribe to the channel, click the subscription button, click the notifications button, so the next time I upload a video, you will be sure to get notified. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.